In the last two tutorials, we talked about one-point perspective and how to draw simple and then complex shapes with this system. In this tutorial, we want to talk about the next order of the perspectives, which is called two-point perspective, and that is because it has two vanishing points instead of one. As usual, when drawing perspective, we need to draw a horizontal line for the horizon, which represents the furthest distance that we can see. And next we need to draw two vanishing points as far apart as possible from each other on the horizon line for two-point perspective. These vanishing points would be the points where parallel lines look like they meet if they were to recede from us. Draw a short vertical line in the middle of your page. This will be the corner of the first cube we're about to draw. You can draw this line above, below, or even on the horizon line. It is better to be in the middle because if we draw it at the very corner of the page, it would be out of the cone of vision and our shape starts to look distorted. Next, let's draw the right side of the cube. To do this, let's connect the two sides of the line to the vanishing point like this. So draw two lines that recede back into space to the right vanishing point. And to draw the left side of the cube, do the same to the left vanishing point. I prefer to draw the guidelines lighter at this stage. Now we can draw two more vertical lines between these two diagonal lines going to the vanishing points on either sides. In this example, the shape is above the horizon line and we're looking at the cube from below. So we have a view from underneath of this cube as we're looking up at it. We can draw one side plane wider than the other side. It depends on if we want to have a rectangle or a square to turn into a cube. If the concept is a bit difficult and confusing for you to get, you can examine it with a real box and try moving it above or below your eye level to see how it affects the object and the way it appears to you. We can draw a diagonal line from the bottom right vertical line to the vanishing point on the left, and then another line from the bottom left vertical line to the vanishing point on the right. Now we have a cuboid that we're looking up at. To finish it up, I can just go ahead and make the outlines a bit bolder so that my shape would be more distinct from the other elements in the background. I can go further and draw the back planes of this cube. Let's assume we have a glass box in here that we can clearly see all the corners and angles. So I can just connect these two corners to the vanishing points on either sides to find the back planes of the cube. I want to show the back planes with dashed lines to make it look different from the front planes. And then draw a vertical line like this one in front to finish up the shape. And there we have it. Let's have another example. And in this one, I'm going to put my object on the horizon line. We're going to try different positions as we did for the one-point perspective. Draw a vertical line somewhere in the middle of the page and again use two vanishing points to find the side angles of this cube. The process is almost the same. You can change the size of the cubes. This one could be larger or smaller than the previous cube, or maybe wider or narrower. This new cuboid has the horizon line going through it, and it means we're looking right straight at the object. So we can't see the top or bottom plane of the cube, only the two front angles. Again, I can find the back planes and angles for this one as well. All I have to do is to connect these corners to the vanishing points on both sides. We have some space here, so let's try out another one. I want this one to be larger, like a vertically standard rectangle. Take your time to find the right spot. You might not expect what I'm about to say, But I think 2-point perspective is much easier than 1-point perspective, since you have more guides and handles to control in the scene. But in 1-point perspective, you only have one vanishing point as a guide, and the only thing that is easy to find is the depth dimension, which of course, no matter where our object is, we can always find the depth by connecting the corners to the vanishing point. But for finding height and width dimensions, we have to use our skill and guess where they're supposed to be based on our concept and knowledge of the space and dimension. Remember we said with 1-point perspective, only the depth dimension is treated as having perspective and it recedes back to the vanishing point. And height and width always stay the same. In 2-point perspective, 2 out of 3 dimensions, depth and width, are treated as having perspective, and the height still stay vertical. For the next example, I'm going to put my vertical line below the horizon line, of course, and this time maybe I place it to the right side of the page. And again, I'll repeat the same process. I'll draw a short vertical line in the middle, then I'll draw the right side of the cube. So connect the two sides of the line to the vanishing point just like we did before. And to draw the left side of the cube, do the same to the left vanishing point. Again, draw a diagonal line from the top right vertical line to the vanishing point on the left, and then another line from the top left vertical line to the vanishing point on the right. Since we're looking at the cube from above, so we have a view of the top planes of the shape. And it's because it is placed below the horizon line. Remember I said the horizon line is actually the eye level. So above the horizon line, we're looking up. Below the horizon line, we're looking down. And if we're looking straight to the horizon line, our eye's looking straight ahead. I'm gonna draw another one in here. This time I like to draw a narrow one, like really a flat narrow cube. And it seems like it is placed underneath this large one on top, which is placed on the horizon line. And I'm gonna draw the back planes and show them with dashed lines again. It really gives a better vision of the shape and the way it is placed in the space. Lastly, let's have some quick shadows to transform the shapes to something less flat. So that was pretty much it. We're gonna have more examples and tutorials about 2-point perspective in future videos. We'll have videos about drawing objects and buildings and scenes in 1, 2, or 3-point perspective, which I'll explain about in the next tutorials. So make sure to check them if you really need to know more about perspective and you're interested in. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.